This is Josh Nelson. I'm talking with you about some car repair today. It's actually specifically electrical repair. So, the issue I have, here's my Volkswagen. The issue I have is that this fan down here, there's two of those. I took the second one out already. I kind of spared you the details of that. It wasn't really that interesting or difficult. But they're both supposed to come on when you insert the key in the ignition, and only one of them was coming on. So what do? Well, I usually go online. There's a very active diesel TDI community. And according to the TDI community, the problem that usually happens with these fans is that the brushes get stuck. And this fan's a DC motor, as you may or may not know. Either way, car system is a DC system, works on 12 volts DC. So what you'll notice, I have already removed the back plate of the motor. Okay, I had to grind some tabs off. Let's see, the camera focuses. You can see the tabs right there that I ground off. And then this back plate comes off. This is a bearing cap, and you see some vent holes. I plugged the vent holes with duct tape to prevent the metal shavings from getting inside the motor. Now what you see here, this is a very standard DC motor, very simple design. We have a brush holder here. There's some various and sundry other goodies, a capacitor to limit the starting current. You heard a clicking noise, I'll explain that in a second. There's the brushes. The brushes are made out of a carbon graphite material. And as you see, one of the brushes is extended, whereas the other one is not. This is supposed to be normal brush operation. The brushes are actuated by these springs here. And as you can see, this one here, focus, 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 there we go. This one here is stuck inside the holder. I can't push it out. I'm going to have to deal with that later. Here you can see the commutator and the motor windings. The commutator is this part right here. And I'm going to go ahead and clean it off with some fine sandpaper too. That's not going to hurt anything. It's going to help. The commutator is what takes the electricity from the brushes to the windings. So almost always on DC motors, or a lot of the time on DC motors, the brushes are what fails. Either the brushes wear down, as you can imagine there's friction in between this brush and the commutator, and so eventually it wears down, or they sometimes get stuck like this. Now there's other possibilities that can happen, like they can get jammed in there with something like they can actually fall out and get caught in the commutator, and then they would get all chewed up and destroyed. But as you can see, fortunately neither of these brushes, that's not the case with either of these. So what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go release this brush, and after I'm finished releasing the brush, it'll actually be all ready to put back together. There won't be really anything more to that. The installation is very basic. You just make sure that the brushes are seated in the correct position, which sometimes takes a little doing. I usually use a screwdriver to push the brushes back into place, and then this brush holder just sits right there like that. So very basic repair for a fan. If you happen to have a Volkswagen car from 99 to 2005, you probably want to go check your fans. If you turn the car on with the key in the ignition and the air conditioning on with the car off, both fans should actually be running. If they're not running, there's a problem, and likelihood of this being the problem is very high.